to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, and thefote.com. With your hosts, Diana Might, Bruce Barker, and Scott Lucky Hudson.
Oh, yeah, it's another Tuesday night. You're live with Diana Might. Hold on to your computers, because we've got an action-packed night for you. I'm Diana Might. This is Scott Lucky Hudson to my left. We've got the infamous Bruce Barker back there controlling everything. And, well, gosh, you know, what else can I say? We're going to have guests, exciting things. We're going to have the Slime Tire Treatment. That's going to be with Bryant Layton, the Off-Road Report. We're also going to have the Great American Auto Scene with Bob Beck. He's going to be talking about the big Mooneye's Christmas Racing Car Show.
Oh, you know there's some interesting footage to go along with that. Now, tonight, Ed Justice Jr. from the Justice Brothers Car Care Company live in studio. Be sure to visit their site while you view the show at justicebrothers.com. We, by the way, go on winter break, as you probably know, every January, so we want to let viewers know that we're going to take January off for 2012. That's a big old month-long celebration of the new year, but we're going to be back in February, and we'll be working on revamping the Speed Scene Live website and the show itself, and man, it's just going to rock come February 2012.
Hey, you know, every year Competition Plus does the .com Awards, and we've been very fortunate to have won the Best Motorsports Show on the Internet Award from them, and we really appreciate it, and we appreciate all the support from all the viewers out there and people that are fans of the show. Now, we won't be on the air, so we can't ask you to vote if they do have a contest again. We don't know if we're nominated. We sure hope we are, because it's such an honor. But please, while we're on break, visit competitionplus.com and see if they're having the .com Awards. And if you feel like it, go ahead and give us a vote. And who knows, maybe we might win that coveted award again.
If you feel like it, Lucky, that's not how you ask for something.
I'm kind of downplaying it. You know, I'm not trying to beg for votes. Hey, you know, a fan of the show is Camel Man, who's part of the 1320 Extreme folks. Mm-hmm. And his 5-year-old son, Jacob, will be racing at the Indy Karting Classic for the 2012 XL Racing Team. So we're hoping to have some footage of that coming up neat and see some of that great race action. And what an honor. Congratulations, Camel Man.
Starting them young, huh?
Starting them young. Wow. And next week, we've got a caller calling in from Israel to give us an update on the racing scene there. So stay tuned for that.
Man, that's pretty sweet. Hey, you know what? You want to check out the latest issue of Drag Illustrated, because there's some guy who's been writing a little bit of material for that. Tell us more about that, Lucky Hudson.
Well, how about right here? You know, you can check out my article under Sportsman Spotlight. You can read a great interview with Don Schumacher and the top 10 hottest women of drag racing. Dynamite, I don't know how you didn't get on that list, but apparently there's a misprint.
I don't know. What can you say? Shame on you guys at Drag Illustrated.
Check out Drag Illustrated at the newsstand, or go online and see the online edition at dragillustrated.com.
Okay, now we had to enlarge the size of the doorway here at the studio this year for this Christmas giveaway that we got going. Thank you, by the way, T. Nichols. Here's what it looks like. Here is what you could win, thanks to T. Nichols again. Call him up direct. Order something nice for somebody in your family today. You can browse some of the material at rangerring.com, but you want to make the phone call to make the actual purchase. That's at 301-788-0388. I'll give you that phone number in a bit. But
this is the Burma Shave. I mean, everybody that traveled, you know, down the old highway back in the day, they remember Burma Shave, right?
That's so right. And Lucky, now, what you were just holding up is winnable.
That's correct. We're going to give it to some lucky viewer. You can sign up once a day, every day, right on our site. You'll see the link. And this is beautiful. Limited edition number 2 in the artist Thomas Nichols, T. Nichols Galleries. Fantastic stuff. Hey, don't get that guy a tie or car wash supplies. No, there's great gift ideas. Later in the show, there's a commercial for Drag Racing 101 and 201. They make great Christmas gifts. Also, T. Nichols, man.
T.
Call
Nichols.
him up.
Yeah, you know what? We saw stuff as low as $25. So, you know, you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on something, you know, super fabulous for your husband. Get him something that's unique that no one else is going to think of. You know, or a little stocking stuffer, whatever the case.
There you go.
Surprise him.
And again, the phone number is 301-788 0388. And since it's a live stream, of course, if you miss the phone number, you can just back it up again. I'll do it one more time.
Wow. Just back. Beep, 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 beep.
You can't do that with TV, man. 301-788-0388. That's your live connection with the T. Nichols Gallery.
Well, tonight we've got a great guest. We've got a gentleman that's been a huge part of the racing industry, all different formats of racing, all different styles of racing. We'd like to welcome Mr. Ed Justice Jr. Ed, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm dressed up because I'm going to another event right after this, so I that's the reason why I have a tie on.
Well, you can have a tie on.
This informal show, and I'm here all real formal. I took my jacket off.
Yeah, we should have brought you a speed scene shirt, and we could have dressed you up real quick. Well, today I've got the Foat shirt on, boys and girls. We've got swag from thefoat.com. Where's that available at, Lucky?
Thefoat.com, TheFoat, and I'm reading crew updates on there right now during the show, so if you got a question, you can go there and talk to me. You can ask a question of Ed, Diana, Mike, Bruce, Bob Beck, anybody. But
so Ed, what does FOAT mean?
Well, FOAT is FOAT, stands for fastest of all time. And Ed, you've been involved with a lot of different cars. Of course, you've got an IndyCar win in your family,
right? At Indianapolis, right?
Right. You got a lot of different types of wins, and you might consider yourself the fastest of all time. But even a guy like me with a Seagas Nova, Diana Might has a 10-second drag car. We all, in our minds, are the fastest of all time. And,
in our minds. Thanks a lot, Lucky.
The FOAT is sort of encapsulates that for us.
And what it is, you know what? You should visit it. Go to thefoat.com. It's a wonderful website. You can put blogs down. They've got classifieds. I mean, it's a mix of like Facebook and eBay, but all vehicle oriented, which is awesome. You can't ask for more than that.
Actually, one of the people, Subaru guy, says, "Is this the first person to wear a tie on Speed Scene?"
There you go. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, might be the last too. Might be the last.
Hey, we don't know, boys and girls. He may have a Superman shirt underneath that tie, so
right.
You just watch out.
I'm wearing a fire suit under mine. Now, Ed, let's talk about your family a little bit. Of course, your dad and your uncles are the ones that started Justice Brothers way back when.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. They started it a long, long time ago. My, partial short history. My one uncle was the first employee for Frank Curtis at Curtis Craft, which is a company that had about 30 out of 33 Indy cars at Indianapolis one year. And, the Curtis Craft Roadsters sell for a lot of money today. My dad worked at Curtis Craft also. And
they were famous for sprint cars, too, right?
Sprint cars, midgets. Actually, the Curtis Midget is probably the most famous car, and then the Indy car would be right after that. But, yeah, in fact, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't think Frank ever built a sprint car, to be honest with you.
It might just be like midgets.
Right. Frank built about 500 midgets after the war. And they were so successful, actually, it sort of hurt midget auto racing. But we've got a museum. We've got the largest collection of midgets in the world, for whatever that's worth. I don't know. But we just happen to be the ones because it's a big part of our family's life.
And where's that museum located at?
Duarte, California. It's where our world headquarters is located. Mm-hmm. And it's right at the end of the 210, or the 605 and the 210 freeway in Duarte, California.
And can anybody go in and visit the museum?
Anybody except you. It's like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We have a book of photos of people that you don't let in the casinos.
Yeah, Las Vegas. It's told me.
And you're
I
the
can't
only
come back
picture
either.
in the book right now, unfortunately. No, anybody can come in. Anybody.
If it's like Las Vegas, then whatever happens there stays there, right?
Well, that's true. Yeah, it does. No, we get a lot of people. We get. You mentioned about a caller calling in from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
We have people from Sweden, Australia, all over the world come to our museum and visit it, and it's free. It's the best deal in town. Museums are a loser for money making.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right.
They're always hunting for money, looking for donations.
But if you got all this stuff sitting around, sometimes you go, man, I got 25 midgets. What am I going to do with them? Well, hey, let's set them up real pretty and let people look at them.
Midget race cars. You want to be politically correct here. Okay. But anyway.
Thank you. You know, you got to set Lucky straight.
Somebody tunes in late, they're going to go, wait a minute. This isn't the show I'm used to here.
Well, I was going to talk about, they
think we're talking about, Gone with the Wind or something,
Wizard of Oz. It is Christmas time. Come on.
By the way, those shoes are going
Wizard of Oz. There you go. What am I, Gone with the Wind? Thank God this isn't a movie show.
Now, Ed, your family actually sold one of their race cars, I think, for like $2,500. Took that money and moved to Florida and started the actual Justice Brothers oil additive company.
They made $2,500 profit when they sold that midget. It was one they built on the side while they were working at Curtis Craft, and they took that $2,500, left California, moved down to Florida, as you said, and with a product that nobody knew. They had one product in a brown glass medicinal jar, which is sort of like a hydrogen peroxide jar, if you're familiar. Now they're bottles. They're plastic bottles. Right. They're glass, we don't break anything anymore. You can throw them against the wall. But anyway, and went down there and created really the additive industry as we know it today. They were the first sponsors in NASCAR. My uncle Zeke, who was the one I talked about that was the first employee at Curtis Craft, he was good friends with Red Vogt, who was the first superstar mechanic in NASCAR before Smokey Yunick. Smokey Yunick said Red Vogt was the original guy. And my uncle dated Red's sister, and, they were like Forrest Gump, really, when it came to the automotive industry. They were at the right place at the right time. If you remember in the movie, how Forrest is just always at those historic moments. They sponsored Frank Curtis as his first sponsor, and they got that win in 1950 at Indianapolis. They were Garlett's first paid sponsor. How do you like that, since you do a lot of drag racing on this show?
That's right. And you know what? Garlett said the Justice Brothers family, I guess is the way to put it, paid him $1,000 for a year sponsor.
That's right.
And it was his first sponsor ever. And he said, at that point, I really felt like I was somebody big.
Yeah, darn near killed us paying him that money. But
that was a lot of money.
Put us out of business. But the deal at Indianapolis was $5,000. That's what the sponsorship for the car was. Now, understand, this was the 1949 national champ.
You could buy a house for that kind of money.
Yeah, this was top-of-the-line sponsorship cost. But, and Indy was the first race of the year in 1950. Back in the day, people wonder why Daytona starts out the season for NASCAR. Well, stock car racing modeled a lot of it. Bill France did after open wheel with IndyCar. And the Indy 500 used to be the first race of the year in back in that time. So they won the first race out, put them on the map, and the rest is history. Got a second in 52. We were on the front row in about 98 and had a second in 99 with Jeff Ward, well-known motorcycle racer.
Now, I read an interview with your dad, and he said one of the secrets to his success. Well, he said the first secret was work really hard. He said that was
true.
it. We're hardworking. We're from Kansas. We're Midwestern people. We're family people. We know how to work hard. But he said part of the secret to your success was working in the race car industry and helping racers, and that they would sell oil during the day, and at night they'd help guys work on their cars. And by being involved with the racing industry, and by being able to show racers that, hey, add this oil to your car, it really will make your car go faster and run better. That was sort of the secret, because people took them more seriously because they knew that when they said something, they backed it up.
It's what they call authenticity today. They have these fancy words. It's like on the internet. I mean, they go, hey, it's all about content. You go, yeah, when did you ever sell a newspaper that had terrible content? When did you ever sell a magazine with terrible? It's always been about content. Give me a break, all right? I mean, people right now watching it, if it's not any good content, we're gone. We're out of here, just like all of us will be, all right?
Sure.
So authenticity is another one of these words that people have rediscovered, which means you're real, meaning you are the real deal. And my dad and my uncles were the real deal. I mean, with their race car building background and everything in the world of high performance and all that, a lot of these guys that we compete against in the business today are a bunch of slick suit-wearing marketing guys.
Guys with white shirts and ties.
No. I'm going to a Christmas party tonight. In fact, I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm going down to the Peterson right after this because the Fabulous 50s group, which is all the racers from the 50s, all different types of racings are down there. And I've been to every one of those parties over the years. And unfortunately, every year we always end up with a few less people from that era. Because that's reality. But that's where I'm going, and it's a real nice party and all that. But no, really, I mean, a lot of these people that sell these products, like a lot of products, they don't know how to change a tire on a car. I was down in L.A. one night with a guy in his BMW, and we were around Chinatown, and I go, hey, you got a flat? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, you got a flat in the rear of this car. He goes,
how can that be? They're round.
Right. He goes, how do you know? I said, pull it over. And so we pull into a service station that is shut, and it's dark, and he goes, the tire's flat, and he goes, well, what do we do now? He said, should we call AAA? I said, you call AAA. When they get here, we won't be here. I said, we'll be in the back of somebody's car probably going out to the landfill. I said, we're going to change the tire right now.
Well, see, that's a man. You know what?
Well,
nowadays there's not too many men out there. I like a man that can pull a jack out of the car, change a tire, and not have to depend on AAA to come. Not that AAA's bad.
No.
For girls, it's okay.
I got every membership known to mankind with AAA.
And
motorcycle, motorhome.
We do too. But you know what? There's so many guys that they don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to break a nail. It's like, suck it up and change a tire.
Be a man. Hey, Ed, are you a member of the Checkered Flag Club?
Yeah, I am a member of the Checkered Flag 200, and I was member number 26.
Wow, congratulations. Very elite deal.
Yeah, I've been a member since the very beginning. We celebrated Carol Shelby's 70th birthday party in the Peterson Museum when it was steel studs and drywall.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. There was about 20 of us. And he turned 70, and Shelby's like about, 88? Almost 90, 88, 90, something like that.
Getting up
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a quick break. We got a commercial break. When we come back, we got more with Ed Justice. If you've got some questions, go ahead and get on the phone and crew update me. We're going to come back with Bob Beck and the Great American Auto Scene, and he's got something cool to talk about tonight, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Tommy Ivo. When I'm not busy writing my book, which really took some time to do, I'm watching Speed Scene Live.
Speed Scene Marketplace.
Lucky here. Everybody needs a garage to put that race car, show car, hot rod, or maybe a project you're working on. Garages Unlimited are the people to talk to. Located right here in Southern California, Garages Unlimited can design and build a dream garage from scratch, or they can renovate your existing building to be better than new with cabinets, flooring, lifts, lighting, accessories, everything that you need and want in a garage. Visit them on the web at garagesunlimited.net or give them a call at 714-624-3692. That's 624-3692. Garages Unlimited. A great company, lots of experience designing your next dream garage. Call them today and let them show you just how affordable it can be.
Drag Racing 201, Racing in the New Economy, the much-anticipated follow-up to Drag Racing 101 by Ike Heckler Jr. Available at Amazon.com or at ihracing.com. Available as a paperback or ebook. Learn how to get sponsored, race on a budget, how to race, and how to do it all in today's economy. Both Drag Racing 101 and 201 make great Christmas presents. Buy yours today at ihracing.com or amazon.com. Drag Racing 201.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV with your hosts Diana Mike, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, and the Off-Road Report with Bryant Layton.
Welcome back to the show, Speed Scene Live. We're here with the infamous Ed Justice from Justice Brothers, Ed Justice Jr. We're also here with Hot Rod Bob Beck, the great American auto scene. Bob, you got some gas to share with us today?
I've got lots of gas for you. And, one of the things we're talking about is one of the classes of cars that came out after the gassers at the drags was the FX categories. And we have got two guys that are going to be doing some FX racing. They're going to do some match racing for us at Mooneye's Christmas party this coming weekend at Iriwndale. It's going to be great. These are BFX, and we're going to have some AFX. But on the phone with us tonight is going to be Gary Smith. And Gary is driving the very legendary Yankee Peddler Mustang BFX car.
Ooh. So he should be online right now. Hey, Gary, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Is this Gary right here?
It's me.
No.
How you guys doing?
No, Gary, you're not on the screen. Trust me. Trust me. This is not a Nomex Bustier.
Gary, welcome to the show, Speed Scene Live. Glad to have you.
Nice being here, guys.
Now, Gary, you've got the Mustang. Why don't you give us a little bit of history on that 65? It's a 65, right?
It's a 65 Mustang Fastback 2+2. My father actually bought the car new from Pacific Ford in December of 65. Used it as a daily driver for up until probably 1972, which we took it off the road. And he had always had aspirations of doing some form of racing with it. He wasn't sure if it was going to be road racing or possibly drag racing, but drag racing is the direction that we went. And we ended up he started racing a car in 1974 at Orange County International Raceway, and eventually it was taken off the road as a street car and converted into a full-time race car in 1975, and it's been that way ever since. And,
now, what classes did it run? You ran BFX, you're running BFX, you're going to do a match race, but what was the class that it ran back in the day?
When the car was originally put together, it was actually a legal Superstock O car at the time. Superstock O stick shift. It was a stick shift car initially.
Okay.
And because of the rules and it's actually the rules of the cylinder heads, the low horsepower 210, the 210 horse 289 is the favored engine for Superstock. And the guy that did the cylinder heads for the car, Greg Foreman, who worked out of Don Nicholson's shop, had gone round and round with the tech department at NHRA, arguing the fact that the 65 Fastbacks did not come with a 210 horse decode engine, which is the popular choice in Superstock. So they did that for about a year, and finally my father kind of gave up on that, and we ended up just going bracket racing and pretty much raced all up and down the West Coast from 1977 to 79.
Right.
And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
And then we eventually we moved to Florida in 79, and he continued racing down there. One of the things that was unheard of was any kind of an 11-second 289 powered Mustang. Most of the 289 cars back then were probably just dipping into the 12s. Some were running low 13s.
Yeah, but you're a West Coast racer. We're always quicker out here.
That's right. And we took the bag of tricks back east with us, and kind of gave them all a little bit of a lesson on how to do it. So.
That's great. Now, one of the things, just for the people that are watching, the photos you're seeing right now were a Mooneye's event last year. Now, this year at Mooneye's, you and, is it Dale Snoke?
That's correct.
Are going to be doing some match racing. He's got a straight axle 64 Comet. And both of you guys are small block 289s, right?
That's correct. Both of us running single 4-barrel 289s, backed by automatics. His car is probably more true to the form FX because of the way the chassis set up, the straight axle, the front wheel, the wheelbase didn't move forward a little bit.
Yeah.
The car I'm running is a little more, it's a stock wheelbase car. It's similar, probably in form to what I believe is Ed Perry, who ran the quarter horse back in the early 60s in BFX.
Okay.
More to that form.
Now, we're looking at a picture right now. Your car really hooks and launches hard, picks the front wheel up.
That's correct. It's just the way the suspension's been set up. It's been like that for most of its racing life. It is a very hard-leaving car. Hopefully the track surface at Irwindale is going to be cooperative with us. And,
we always prepare it well.
Oh, don't worry about that. It'll be there.
Yeah, if we get the thing where it hooks, it'll what you're seeing there is what you're going to be seeing this weekend.
Well, that's good. And I know Dale drives his car on the street as well as races it. I've seen him at a couple of cruise nights with that car. So it's going to be an interesting race. We had a little while ago a picture of Ernie Alatorre with his Fairlane 427 car that he's going to be match racing in an AFX best 2 out of 3, I guess it's going to be. That's
correct. He's actually the AFX show is going to be an elimination show, from what I understand. It's actually it's being put together by Dave Franklin, I believe, and they're going to blend us in with that show. We're going to actually be doing our match racing during the time trial portion of the show, and then I believe Dale may go on to run in the AFX show, and I'm still on the fence. We're not sure if they're going to put me in or not. We'll find out.
Well, that's going to be great. Again, we're going to see you this Saturday at Iriwndale, Toyota Dragstrip at Iriwndale, at the Mooneye's Christmas party. It's going to be racing, rodding, showing. We're talking to you, and we're showing pictures of your car, but all the other hot rods and the ladies that we've been showing in some of the cool cars are going to be part of the Mooneye's event, the annual Christmas party. Get there early. Gates are going to be opening up at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Hey, Ed, have you ever had a chance to go to that Mooneye's event out there at Iriwndale?
I love the event. I used to go to it. It started out as a Pinstripers reunion back in the day.
Right, still pinstriping going on.
Ed Roth and Von Dutch and all the real hardcore guys. And it was very small in the beginning, down at their headquarters in Santa Fe Springs. And then it got bigger, and they finally got thrown out of Santa Fe Springs. They literally got thrown out of doing the party down there.
Because the streets were jammed,
and, right, exactly. It just got out of control. And then they moved to Whittier for 1 year.
The VFW, wasn't it?
Or Elks, one of the two. One of those two. I actually liked that show.
Yeah,
that had a real old school feeling to it. It was impractical. And then they moved to the Iriwndale.
Yeah.
And Iriwndale isn't big enough for it now.
No.
I mean, this thing has got, in the music business, they say it has legs. Right. This show has legs.
Ladies have been showing their legs.
No, I mean, it really, the show just continues to grow. They've been hampered by bad weather every once in a while, but very rare. And I think this weekend's going to be great. And my advice to anybody that wants to go, and if you're in the LA area, you should go, is go early. I mean, if you can ride a motorcycle, it's that much easier to get in and out of.
Yeah, I think 1 year, I think they sold out at like 10 o'clock in the morning. They had to stop letting people in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we had cars parked in the infield. Actually, the whole circle track was full.
In the infield of the track, on the track, everywhere.
Yeah, and it's motorcycles, hot rods, rockabilly bands, tiki stuff, pinstriping, pinup girl contest. You walk around and pinup girls are posing on the cars with photographers.
There's a couple of guys that won't wash their cars again.
They do not get a crowd as big as this any other time during the year at Iriwndale.
No, and last year was really big because the previous year it got rained out.
Yes.
So they're doubling up, huh?
Well, you still had 200 cars show up in the rain, but they made up for it. They had a summer event in July, and that kicked off, led right into the Christmas. Everyone said, this was great, let's do it again. And they started showing up for the Christmas party last year, and it was just jam-packed, both events.
Yeah, it's a tremendous event. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool stuff to buy.
Yep.
And if you're into, the hot rodding type trinkets and books and pinstripey stuff and great T-shirts and all that, there's a lot of stuff there. I always end up buying stuff. I mean, I love that type of show. It reminds me a little bit of the hot rod reunion in Bakersfield, and it has that old school feel. And for me, that's just really neat.
It's kind of like the north end of the grandstands.
Where the rockabilly cars are.
Where the rockabilly cars, but it's just the whole event. I mean,
at Bakersfield you're talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And now Stormy Bird is going to be out there making some big burnout passes.
With Randy Winkle in his fuel coupe.
It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, we're going to have some great events. It's going to be great racing. I'm going to be there on the PA, so I'll be telling you what's going on throughout the day. And come on out. A lot of vendor booths. Last year I had my car striped by Von Hot Rod. So the Plymouth.
Well, you're halfway there. It's Von something.
It's not.
You could have it
the real good
striped by Von Ed.
Ed. Great event, Bob. Thanks a lot. Looking forward to being at the show, and really going to be a good show. We're excited about it, and. It's one of those few events, me being a drag racer, it's one of those few events where drag racing is really sort of secondary to everything else, because you walk over to the fence and you watch drag cars, and then you go, okay, I got to get back to the show now.
Yeah. Now, one thing about this event, too, is a lot of the cars that are coming out, these aren't pro guys. They are not the weekend warriors that go down to Fontana or Bakersfield or even Irwindale's regular event. So you're going to see a lot of cars that don't come out often. And one of the examples, we saw a picture earlier of a car without a tire and a fender. It's because he still had the old recap slicks on his car from who knows when. And when he did his burnout, it took the fender with it.
Wow.
So if you look in the north side of the picture, you can see
nothing like great tech and safety.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you know what? Yeah, recaps allowed.
Recaps, and the only thing left was the bead on the wheel. Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of cars that don't come out on a regular basis. You're going to see a multitude of rat rods, cool customs, and great stuff out there.
And hey, Gary Smith, man, thanks for joining us for the show as well.
Really good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend.
All right, cool, Gary. Stop up in the tower, say hi. We'll talk about your race and move on to more stuff at Mooneyes.
Hey, Bruce, I'd like to know if you'd bring up line 2, because I see a name here on the teleprompter or whatever this thing's called. Chris, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
How's it going?
Doing good. You know, Ed, we've actually got the grandson, Chris Curtis, on the line right here.
Oh, calling in from Bakersfield?
That's right. Chris, welcome. You're on the show with Ed Justice Jr., and I guess your guys' his parents and your granddad were pretty good friends.
And I know his dad, Arlen, very, very well. Very well. Absolutely. Yep. Great family.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, in fact, I've got to tell you something. We have the Shavglick Award that is given out every year to recognize somebody from California that has done great things in racing. And believe it or not, guys, after all these years, Frank Curtis won a couple years ago. It was really a neat deal.
Wow.
And Chris's dad, Arlen, and his mom, Carol, came down and accepted the award out there at Fontana right before the February-March Cup race. And I was really impressed that the press, voted for Frank and that he was able to receive this award. Hey, it would have been great if Frank was still around to see this, but still, tremendous, cool. Tremendous, real deal that he got that, because the other people that have won have John Force, Wally Parks, J.C. Agajanian, Don Perdome.
Good company, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good
Carol Shelby, Dan Gurney.
Now, Chris, you're a racer yourself. In fact, you recently got the championship.
There's a picture of Frank right there.
In the NHRA Heritage Series, didn't you?
Yeah, I won the final race up here in Bakersfield at the Heritage Race, yes, in D-Gas.
D-Gas, that's my class.
That's right.
So you mean I can go out there and spank you on the track?
Oh, well, you could try.
That's what I like to hear.
And we met you a while ago because we were admiring the great craftsmanship that you did on the 57 Chevy you built, and we're seeing some...
That's Curtis Craft Shot.
We're seeing some pictures of your grandfather's shop, so apparently it's sort of a genetic thing with the Curtis family. You guys are great fabricators.
I guess it runs in the family, you could say that.
Frank Curtis's dad was a blacksmith. So it really, even though he wasn't building race cars, this fabrication ability goes way back. And Arlen, Curtis's dad, built some of the best drag boats in the history of drag boat racing. They won. Eddie Hill was one of the competitors that ran one of their drag boats.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of history there that we could talk about. But I'm just telling you, it's real deep in the family.
Now, Ed, how did your family get hooked up with the Curtis family? I know there was
that's an interesting story, really. Actually, it all started here in Burbank.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, Burbank, Glendale were actually very much speed capitals back right after the war. And my dad, before the war, came out to California from Kansas, went to work for Douglas Aircraft as a flight test mechanic in the flight test department. And he met a guy at a roller rink one night in Santa Monica that was a male secretary for a guy who was worth, at that time, about $500 million before the war. Now, that's several billion today.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow.
Guy's name was Joel Thorne. He had a shop down here by Burbank, Hollywood Burbank Airport. And he took this money he inherited, and he just loved to play with cars. He was a good friend of Howard Hughes. He dated Rita Hayworth. I mean, this guy was really like something else.
Wow, now I know who I want to be reincarnated as.
And so anyway, my dad met this guy at the roller rink and got to know him, and he said, yeah, I work at this race shop, and this guy's got a lot of money, and he's looking for people. And my dad says, well, my brother, my uncle, but my dad's brother, he said, he's a really good, talented guy. And he said he works at Western Auto, and he can do a lot of this stuff. And I can have him come out, you interview him, and give him a job. And so my dad had to really convince my uncle very hard to come out here, because he says, I'm making a lot of money at Western Auto, was considered to be a good job. Came out, got the job, went to work at Thorne. Well, Frank Curtis rented a shop in the second floor at that shop. And he had his own little deal there. Frank had worked for Don Lee Motors down in L.A., Mount Lee in Hollywood, where they have the antennas. This is old L.A. history. But anyway, so after the war, when Frank decided to make his own shop and create Curtis Craft with the double Ks, he asked my Uncle Zeke, would you like to be my first employee? So that's how it happened. It was at a shop right here in Burbank.
Right.
Wow, man. Chris, you got some heavy heritage in your family there.
Yeah, it goes back a long ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And, his dad, in our collection, of course, we got a lot of the original Curtis Craft midgets, but we also have the first second-generation midget that his dad, Arlen, made when he did the recreation of the Curtis Craft midget. His dad has done a recreation of a few of the Curtis cars.
Right.
He did the 500 sports car, which, is a sport car, as Carroll Shelby always calls them, not sports car, sport car. And I agree with that. I think the singular is really right, but is a car that ran Cadillacs, Allard motors. I mean, they ran all sorts of stuff, and they were Chryslers. They were a very, very competitive sport car back in the 50s, in the early day. In fact, some of the guys at the party I'm going to tonight drove Curtis sport cars, the 500.
Well, the 500 was also designed after the Indy car.
That's right. Exactly right.
It was turned into
the Vukovich Indy car.
Right. It was turned into a two-seater and with motorcycle fenders on it.
Exactly right. That's right. You know it. It's your family. See, there's a whole bunch of shots here. That 69 car. Well, there's the Novi that was built, and there's Frank, the tall guy in the center. Huh. The Novi that was built by Curtis Craft. My uncle is to the left, the guy with his hands on his hips.
The not-so-tall guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
No. My Uncle Zeke was on the shorter side. And but real athletic type guy. But Frank was one of those. He was so tall. He just had to look. There's George Robeson. Now that car won at Indy in '46. That car was built in the Thorne shop by Art Sparks. Was over that deal. And George Robeson actually was the last. Here's a little bit of sad trivia. He was the last driver to not be able to defend his Indy 500 title before the unfortunate death of Dan Weldon. 1946 was the last time that happened. That the reigning Indy 500 champion couldn't defend his title.
Oh, man.
That was the second place car in '59, driven by Jim Rathman, who just died the other day. That car was owned by the Granatelli brothers. You might know them, Andy Granatelli.
That's right, famous.
He became a competitor of ours a few years later, and that was the 1950 win with Johnny Parsons and his wife Lila there.
Well, now, Chris, you're a car builder yourself. I got a question here. Do you build cars like your dad?
Well,
your grandfather?
I build more of the drag car stuff. But my dad, like Ed was saying, we're reproducing the 500S and then the midgets. And I build all the fiberglass bodies for the midgets and the glass work for the 500S. So I have a helping hand on doing that.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, Chris, thanks for calling. It's good to hear from you. And,
absolutely.
Just a wealth of information. And, it's great to have you on here with Ed.
Yeah,
well,
Chris.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, make sure you say hi to your mom and dad for me, all right?
Oh, yeah. I will.
Absolutely. I really, really like your mom and dad, and they've been friends of our family for a long time.
Oh, yeah. They're good people.
Yeah, they are. They're great people.
Well, hey, talk to you later, Chris. Thanks a lot for calling in. That's Chris Curtis of the infamous Curtis Midgets.
Yeah, Indy cars, sport cars,
Fantastic.
Curtis Craft family.
Now,
right.
We're going to switch gears. We're going to leave the pavement. We're going to go right past that dirt oval. We're going right out to the desert to talk to one of the best off-road pilots out there, a gentleman that is no stranger to the world of off-road. Like to welcome Brian Layton. Brian, welcome for the Slime Off-Road Tire Treatment Report.
Hey, you guys. Thanks a lot. Sorry I missed last week. We're getting the Jeep Speed ready to go out to the Moore 200, Toys for Tots 200, where we actually came home with a win in our class and a win for the championship, and wasn't able to, get on the horn with you guys last week, and I apologize about that.
No problem. Congratulations on that. And, of course, that was the Toys for Tots toy drive, so I hope you guys got a lot of toys for all the kids.
Yeah, they did a great job out there. They brought a lot of toys in for all the racers and, just people out there. And, I talked to some of the BLM guys, and we had a great race out there with no big problems, and it was absolutely a great race. And, it's a nice way to end the year. And, Sunday morning we actually went and tested for next year already out in Prim, Nevada with the HDRA guys, a new organization that's back up and running. It was down for years. It's back up and running. We went out there and tested some race cars and had a great time out there getting ready for the first race at the end of January.
Well, you've got a gentleman on the line here, Justin France. Diana, why don't you bring him on?
Justin, welcome to the show.
Guys, how you doing?
We're doing great. How about you?
Good, doing good out here.
Hey, Justin, how do you pronounce your?
Not used to it.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Fonts.
Fonts. Okay, good. I knew I was getting it wrong.
In the off-road world, we call Justin Blue Bear, actually. And, Blue Bear has been a good friend of mine. Me and him prepped a trophy truck for Cameron Steele some years ago together and became really good friends. But this last weekend, Justin was also racing out in Henderson, Nevada, and had a really great weekend. Justin, tell us a little bit about what happened.
This weekend we went out and ran a Jimco Class 1 car with Justin Lofton. As you guys might know, he runs the NASCAR Truck Series with Eddie Sharp Racing. And we went out, qualified first, beat all those guys by about a second. Justin's like third or fourth time in the car. And then Saturday afternoon, we left alone with a 30-second lead. The intervals are 30 seconds, and we never really looked back. We first lap ran trouble-free. We had a couple guys coming up behind Jason Voss and Ray Griffiths, so they got in within about 30 seconds. I think after that, we kind of checked out on all of them. Second lap had about a 9-minute lead, and then the third lap we slowed her down, took care of the car, and ended up finishing, I think, 13 minutes ahead of the field. So it was a really good trouble-free run. The car, Ray Dugans builds the engines and things, a rocket ship. It's a ton of fun.
What motor did Doogie build for that car?
That's actually pretty much a trophy truck engine. It's a 427 Chevrolet. Puts about 500 foot-pounds to the ground. So we did a top speed 143 on the asphalt, a little section in the dirt that would come out onto the asphalt.
Wow, that's moving pretty fast for an off-road car.
Yeah. We kind of joked with Justin after we hit that. I'm like, hey, that's more about your speed on the trucks. And he's like, yeah, I feel more at home at speed.
Yeah.
Now, Blue Bear, you've worked for some of the biggest guys in the industry. You prepped cars for Cameron Steele, Rob McCachran. What's going on with you? Your prep side and your racing and your ride. What are your plans for next year?
Next year, as it stands, we're going to run both trucks out of the Mastercraft camp. We got Robbie Pierce in the number 30 and Rob McCachran in the number 20 Rockstar Trophy truck. And right now we're getting them both ready to go to the Laughlin Desert Challenge, Score Laughlin. And that'll be the first race of the season. We're going to do the whole Score series, which is 4 races. And right now I'm going to ride with Robbie Pierce in the number 30. And then I'm in the Best in the Desert series. I believe I'm going to ride with Justin Lofton. And then from there, I'm open for everything else. Maybe I'll come ride with you in the Jeep Speed, right?
We've talked about that before. We would have a good time.
Yeah.
All right, cool, Justin. Thanks a lot for calling in. And, we just wanted to get a little recap on how the race went from you. And we wish you guys nothing but the best of luck next year. And we'll hopefully get you on and, maybe get Justin on next time with you, too. It'd be great once you guys do another win.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can we ended the season great and hopefully lead it off into the next season, coming away with a couple more wins. I know Justin's excited to get in the truck again, too, so should be a good time.
Nice. Well, congratulations. It's definitely your time to shine.
All right. Thanks, bud.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Hey, Brian, where will you be racing next? Is the season wrapping up for you yet?
I'm done for the year.
Nice. Wow. Nice.
I'm enjoying a little time off, and I took on a new job. I'm down at Toys for Trucks in Hesperia, actually building, building trucks for the street and stuff like that, doing lift kits, wheels and tires and everything like that. But
Cool.
Taking a little time off. I'll be out the end of January for the HDR race, which is called the Red Line at State Line out in Prim, Nevada. I can't wait. You go to my Facebook page, you can see a video of me hitting the dike jump at about 85 miles an hour in the Jeep on Sunday, and it was a blast.
That's a great picture. Hey, Brian, thanks for calling in. The Off-Road Report, sponsored by Slime Tire Treatment.
Thanks a lot, guys. Talk
to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bruce, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we got more with Ed. We got more stuff. We got more junk in the trunk right here on Speed Scene Live.
Stay right there. We'll be right back.
I'm Justin Humphreys, and I'm on Speed Scene Live.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you the best bite for the buck. You paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. Call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you. Slicks or DOT, M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online, mention the Speed Scene, and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal service, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. MNHTires.com.
That has served to defend our great country and our freedom. All of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you. For over half a century, Currie rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Currie lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Currie gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Currie expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Currie's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Currie Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like correct link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Currie rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at CurrieEnterprises.com. Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV with your hosts, Diana Mike, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, and the Off-Road Report with Bryant Layton.
Welcome back. Speed Scene Live. Look at this. We got a full studio tonight. I would be that Bruce Barker. In fact, I've decided tonight I just would not be that guy. I just am that guy.
Embrace the Bruceness in yourself.
That's right. I'm embracing the Bruceness. Which part of me do I grab first? And there's Diana Might. I'm just going to transition like right. And there's Lucky Hudson. And also tonight, Ed Justice Jr., Justice Brothers, in studio. Ed, it's an honor to have you here tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Bruce. It's an honor to be here.
You know, Ed, we've talked about...
I didn't realize you guys did so much drinking on the breaks. So I've watched before. It's unbelievable. What a party this is. I mean, I'm holding off because I got to drive, but you guys put it down like I can't believe.
Wait till we get Donnie Couch in here with that powered margarita maker.
Oh, Donnie,
watch out.
look out.
We fired that baby up in here, and not a single one of us thought about, I wonder if the exhaust fumes will be a problem. Not a single one.
We just didn't care.
Hey, we've talked a lot about the history of your company, Ed. We've talked about your family, the success, the Justice Brothers, and, of course, your website, justicebrothers.com. But the real reason that I find you so fascinating is you are involved in so many aspects of the motorsports industry, in preserving the industry, in helping the industry grow. Is this what your passion is? I mean, obviously you're a businessman, but I don't really think of you as a race car driver. I think of you more as a promoter of all sports.
Yeah, well, driving a race car was not in the cards for me. With my dad coming from the generation that they were in, they lost so many friends. It's like, I have lunch with Parnelli Jones and Dan Gurney on, separate on a regular basis because they both live here in the SoCal and they've been friends of the family forever. And I was talking to Dan one day. In fact, this was, I forget when it was, but it came up about when Dale Earnhardt got killed. And I said, Dan, back in the day, 10 top drivers would die in a year. And he said, I'm doing my life story, and I think he said it was 1966. He said, I had 10 close friends die that year.
That's a lot.
So, the reason why I mentioned this, my dad, when I said, hey, I want to drive a race car, I drove a quarter midget, and my mom said, no, that's it. She said, I don't want to see, my son end up dead in a race car. And back in those days, it was not only dying in the race car, but fire. Fire was the biggest enemy of racers.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Before these fire bottles came out, Flame Out was one of the first ones, and they're not even around, I don't even think, anymore. But, the driver could live, but he'd be all scarred up with third-degree burns. In fact, a very close friend that we sponsored in Top Fuel, Herm Peterson, got in a serious wreck in 1973 down at Orange County Dragstrip, and my wife and I visited him in the intensive care burn unit at Orange County Hospital. And I want to tell you something. If you want an intense experience, go to a burn unit and look at somebody that's gone through some serious burns. It is not fun. And I'll never forget, I looked across the way, and this was the unit where they had multiple beds. It wasn't individual, and you could see the other people in there. And we're sitting there, and my wife, she was a trooper and a very good sport, but it was starting to get to the point where it was starting to get nauseating, where you felt lightheaded and all that. And I said to Herm, hey, what happened to that guy across from you? And he goes, that's not a guy, that's a girl. Totally no hair, burnt, and it was an electrical fire. Now, and this is the thing you don't realize, how many different ways you can get burnt: chemical, flame, heat, electrical. I mean, but anyway, that's enough on that. But that's why, racing used to be so much more dangerous than it is today. We've come so far.
Fire
in safety.
suits are better.
Unbelievable.
The tech, all the safety stuff.
I remember at Indy when Bill Simpson poured fuel on his legs and leaned up against the deal and set himself on fire. Great publicity stunt. That photo still comes out every once in a while to prove, hey, I believe in this suit that I do so much that I'll light myself on fire. It's like the old joke, for my next trick, I'll light myself on fire. But anyway. Right.
So instead of being a race car driver, somehow you became a person that champions all race car drivers.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the opportunity to pick the family I was born into. None of us do. But I was very, very lucky and to be blessed to be born into the family that I was. There's a picture of A.J. Foyt. That was his 30th Indy 500. We sponsored him. I shot pictures at A.J.'s dad's funeral for him. Very close friend. Interesting guy, to say the least. But, I was blessed to be in this family, and I love this business. You know, I know guys that were brought up in the automotive industry that they could give you 2 cents for a car. You know what I mean? They just didn't. It wasn't their deal. For me, it was, and I just love this. I love all forms of racing. I don't care whether they have wheels or not. If it's got an engine, really gets down some mode of propulsion. I mean, I have rocket cars at Bonneville.
Jet.
Yeah, jets. We used to sponsor probably 20 jet cars out at the drags back in the day. You know, it had the J-34 jets, and the great show. In fact, I think that's part of what we've lost in drag racing.
I agree.
I love all that whiz bang and wheel standers.
By the way, speaking of jets, the Verona jet car just set a new track record at the Verona track and just went screaming fast. So all you guys that say, hey, is that Verona track any good?
Or it's too short, I can't take my race car
I don't have the
there.
numbers in front of me.
Yeah.
But
you know what? There's a jet out there, and it has room to stop. So.
And you know, you remember the hydrogen peroxide rocket cars?
That's right.
The pollution packer.
Yeah.
Remember that was one of the big ones? Those things were really scary, and they outlawed them at NHRA because once you lit the fuse on that thing, you couldn't throttle it back. Like
it was going to go.
It was a
bomb.
rocket. It was a rocket.
Yeah.
And one got loose one time and had a serious wreck. Guy got killed and all that. And they thought if one of those ever turns left or right and goes into the stands,
and it'll just keep going.
Yeah, it'll drill a hole right through the center of the stands. And so they said, okay, we've had enough of that. You know, in fact, my one buddy, I can't remember his name, John Paxton, had one that was sponsored by Armor All that he did, and. They were actually, and that's there's a great story about the Blue Flame that Gary Gablich, you know, very well known drag racer, and that was using gas, natural gas, and again, it was one of these explosions, and it's just that's really what it is. It's a controlled explosion, you know, when you're running one of those cars.
Well, what's next for Ed and Justice Brothers?
Well, you know. We have a certain amount of planning, but I like to just see. I got a call beginning of this week from a well-known funny car driver that's we might connect with. You know, we're with the Coletta team. We've got the Ferrari team in the American Le Mans series, the Risi Competizione out of Houston. You know, we won Le Mans a few years ago with a Porsche. Which was one of the things.
Look, here's a shot of you working.
There you go. I like that. You know what? And these are all great people. These are, you know, I'm just the figurehead, the spokesperson for all the people that represent Justice Brothers around the world. Our products are sold in every free country around the world. I mean, we're number one seller in China. We've been over there for several years. How do you like that? Here's a company, Justice Brothers.
American
we make
company.
the product
American
in America.
company.
Yeah. Family owned, and we're selling product in China. Now,
awesome.
It's not, you know.
Wow.
There needs to be more of this,
There
frankly.
does. There
you know,
does.
and there are many reasons why there isn't. I mean,
and it's unfortunate. We need more companies like this.
Well, we do.
That's a
because
long
you know
way
what?
from Paola, Texas, or Kansas.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or Paola. When you say Paola, people start to think you're talking about Washington, D.C. or the music business or something. Paola, who's getting the money here?
No,
but
it's,
anyway,
you know what?
It's an Indian name.
It's
by
the
way.
American dream, Ed. It really is. It's, you know what? Your father, his brothers, they all had a vision, and they
worked
made
hard.
it work.
Well,
And
you know what? The American dream is still alive if the government will just get out of the way.
You're right.
And, if we can just keep the regulations out of the way, there are people that come here all the time. As I remember, I think it was Ronald Reagan maybe that said that people get on little pieces of raft and float to America for a chance for a better life. And that still exists, and people are still coming here and still making a better life. It's all up to you. My dad used to tell me, he said, Ed, from your neck down, you're worth so much an hour. From the neck up, he said, you determine how much you're worth. And it's true. I mean,
good quote. I like that.
What's your intelligence? What's your drive? What's your desire? And, they always say, and it is true, you got to find what you love and then do it.
Absolutely.
And then it's not a job.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And, I look at these pictures of your dad and your uncles, and they all had a day job, and they all worked at night after work. They'd work on cars, and they'd do stuff, and they had this drive to succeed. And, it's so funny. I look at these pictures, and these guys work their butts off. In all these pictures, they're smiling.
They are. They're happy.
Yeah. Well, he's got a pretty girl there, of course.
Yeah. That was over in England. And I've got so many albums of my dad's war pictures. My dad was a photo bug, and you might know, if you don't, I used to shoot for the magazines as a freelancer for Hot Rod, Drag Racing USA, Carcraft, you name it, different indie magazines, etc. I also wrote the weekly column for Iriwndale Dragstrip for National Dragster and Drag News back in the early 70s. And anyway, my dad was the one that instilled that love of photography, which I still have to this day, and I still shoot stuff and all. But he was such a photo bug, and, he would trade things to get the film and the paper, from the supply sergeant.
How about that?
And so they take the big rolls of this Recon paper, and they used 35 millimeter in the Recon cameras, see? Yeah. And he'd load his own cassettes and all that, if you're familiar with that, and film. Somebody's listening right now going, film, what is that? Is that what you brush your teeth to get rid of?
A roll of film?
Yeah, I know. And you know what, Kodak, God bless Kodak, but they're about 10 months from going out of business, according to the recent article I
believe
read.
It, with cell phones and everything else.
This is an American icon, but you know what? Things change, know. And on the other hand, where it's taken out a company like Kodak, whoever thought Sony or Panasonic would make cameras, or Olympus, and they do, and it's all due to digital. So, markets change, and that's what we have to watch for in our business. We've got 2 new products, an ethanol fuel conditioner, which, of course, ethanol and gasoline, big problem today.
Right.
And we also have a diesel emission control service. Diesels, the class 4 and under, are now regulated by emission control devices, and what that means is you take all the waste out of the tailpipe, you put it back into the engine, and so you get all that particulate matter going in there, and it starts to shut down the passages, and you start losing power, and you don't realize it, because it's a little thing. It's like a person with heart disease. After the operation, they go, wow, I didn't realize I felt so bad.
But it's like we're running a motor on a dirty filter. Just little by little, it gets worse.
You're choking it down.
Yeah.
So this product cleans that. And those are just 2 of the new products responding to the changing market.
Well, Justice Brothers, so many great products. Of course, JB80, it's twice as good, and many, many others. Visit their site at justicebrothers.com. Ed, you've been a great guest. We're out of time. Show's over. You got places to go. We got places to go. We'd love to have you back on another time, sometime in the future.
I'd be happy to, anytime.
Wonderful. All right, coming up next, the encore presentation of the show. In case you missed any of tonight's great show, thanks to you guys. I believe it's Performance Video that supplied a lot of the video material tonight and some of the old snapshots and stuff. Great stuff. Hey, Diana Might, good to see you tonight.
Hey, good to be seen, Bruce.
And is you Lucky Hudson?
Bruce, I'll be here next week. In the meantime, you guys sign up for that free Thomas Nichols giveaway. It's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Ed, good to meet you.
Hey, Bruce, nice to meet you. It's been a pleasure being here.
All right, thanks for coming. Yes, the encore presentation of the show coming up next. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week right here at Speed Scene Live.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, and TheFoat.com.